Saturday, July 25th. I awoke before my alarm went off, finding myself in a bed that wasn't my own. I was staying at the Wyndham Gettysburg Hotel and Conference Center in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and had traveled into the area the day before to experience setup for the Toys for the Ages Expo. I was no stranger to Gettysburg, and had spent 4 years living there as a student while attending Gettysburg College. It had been years since my last visit, and I was thrilled to be back in this part of Pennsylvania. And Andy Cook had given me and many other collectors a reason to travel to Adams County. Andy ran the successful Toys for the Ages Expo in Carlisle, Pennsylvania for years. But as the show became more popular, Andy's vision for it outgrew the Carlisle Expo Center. So this year, he moved Toys for the Ages to a much larger venue in Gettysburg, where he could further expand the show to offer bigger booths, wider aisles, and double the amount of vendors. Saturday was the official opening of Toys for the Ages in its new location. And after a wonderful day at setup and a group dinner in town the night before, I was buzzing with anticipation to see Andy's vision come alive. Thousands of collectors were planning on attending, and they would be getting the best of what Andy and the expo would have to offer. So, I'm showered and dressed and just checked out of the hotel. Let's spend this Saturday together, talking to collectors and hunting for Star Wars collectibles. This is day 2 of my time in Gettysburg. This is part 2 of my trip to what has become a July tradition, the Toys for the Ages Expo weekend. This is what happens when a passionate toy collector builds the toy show of his dreams and then shares it with all of us. This is truly one of the best toy shows on the East Coast. This is a day at the expo and why you need to come next year. And this is Star Wars Prototypes and Production.
From Coruscant to Tatooine, and every planet in between, Star Wars, Prototypes and Production, with your host, David Quinn.
Vader.
It's a trap!
Yes, Master.
Whoa, we're gonna have company!
Have to stand and fight.
The more you tighten your grip, darling, the more star systems will slip through your fingers.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
The Force will be with you, always.
Hello and good morning. It is Saturday, and it is beautiful out. Absolutely one of the most beautiful mornings. I think I woke up at 4:45 and kind of jumped right out of bed. Got about 5 or 6 hours of sleep. We had a great time. I think it was at the Appalachian Brewing Company yesterday. One of the best hamburgers I've ever had. It was called the Yurt Burger, and it had a root beer barbecue sauce, onion straws and tomato and some other type of cream sauce. I can't remember what it is now. I'll have to look it up, but it was truly one of the best burgers I've ever had. It was so enjoyable. We sat outside in front of the restaurant on picnic tables, and they had it all lit beautifully, and it was just really nice. It was a chance to just sit as a group. We took over 4 or 5 picnic tables, I think, 3 or 4, and just hung out for probably an hour and a half or 2 hours. And then by about 10 o'clock, we headed home. But I got a good night's sleep. The sun is just starting to come up now, so it is 6 o'clock in the morning. Showered, got all my stuff ready, and I have about a 15-minute ride over to the venue. This is probably the earliest I think I've gotten to the venue, and so I'll have 2 hours to walk around and to shop for stuff and to talk to friends. And then at 8:30, the early bird ticketing window opens, and so the early bird guests will come in, and we'll shop, and then I think the show opens at either 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I'm not sure. But it was a great day yesterday. The venue was absolutely beautiful. I feel like even though I walked through it multiple times, I still could probably spend another 3 or 4 hours, maybe longer, going through everything. I think a lot of us, we've been to so many shows that after a while you start to see the same stuff on the same tables. And with a show like Toys for the Ages, I truly mean it. I was just talking to friends that have been doing this for longer than I have, and they said that they're seeing things at this show that they have never seen before. One of the items, and I'll try to get a picture of it as well too, but was a complete display, a full original display of the Ghostbusters slime, the little plastic jars of slime that you could buy. And it was a complete display, purple and filled. I don't know how many there were, 24, 48, something like that. But I think the last time I saw one was probably in 1986. So that was really amazing. But just going from table to table, and what was nice is you had so many lines were covered, and at the same time you were seeing things that maybe you had never seen before, particular to that line. Just kind of ancillary items, or like on an album, deeper cuts by a band, which was pretty cool. And then, there was one table that had the Sector's Hive playset, which is huge, and all these other really large, rare playsets, complete in the box. And they look beautiful together. As far as Star Wars, I really haven't seen a ton of carded Star Wars figures. There was one vendor who had about 4 or 5 stacks, and they were almost hidden. I don't think he had even put them out yet. But nothing that I was really interested in. I am going to go to talk to my friend Mark to see. As I mentioned yesterday, he said that he received a Power of the Force Luke Stormtrooper carded. And he said it's pretty nice. So I want to take a look at that. But so that's the show so far. Standing here in Gettysburg in one of the most beautiful mornings that I can remember. I think it's about 65 degrees, but there's a slight breeze, but it feels beautiful. The sun is now starting to peek through the clouds. It's pretty cloudy right now, which should give to a nice day. And I'm standing here in between the Courtyard Marriott and the Wyndham for Gettysburg, and there's the Gateway Theater, which is right in this circle as well too. So a really nice spot. I have to tell you, if you're looking for a place to vacation, or just to visit and to go on tours, they have ghost tours and tours of the battlefields as well. And Gettysburg, it's a quaint little town. It really is. I spent a long time here. I spent 4 years of my life here, and they were 4 really impactful ones. So I'm going to head over to the show now and see if there's anything that I missed yesterday. We still had vendors that hadn't set up yet, so that'll be interesting. And I'm sure that Spencer's going to be bringing more items. He had something like 8, 9, 12 tables, something crazy. So I'll give you a rundown of what was at his table once I get there as well. But here's to a wonderful day. Driving through Gettysburg on the way to the All-Star Sports Complex, I felt like I was transported back to my days of being a college student. I would spend my weekends traveling with my then girlfriend or my college buddies to various restaurants and shops in the area. And seeing certain landmarks again, traveling down familiar roads, and looking out at the vast farmland horizon allowed those memories, those moments, to come rushing back in the kindest way. And I welcomed every one of them. My soundtrack for the ride was R.E.M., specifically their 1996 album, New Adventures in Hi-Fi. The band recorded the tracks during soundcheck and while they were on tour, giving the album an entirely different feel. I had awakened that morning with a song from it playing in my mind, and I knew it wouldn't turn off until I listened to it. So Ebo the Letter, a single that featured Michael Stipe singing and Patti Smith providing backing vocals, became my driving music. It soon shifted to the next track, Leave, which starts out softly but with intention, and then builds to a drill-like pulsing, with a hook that will remain in your head all day if left unattended. I think of New Adventures in Hi-Fi as more of a winter album, but for some reason it felt perfect for this July morning. And I'm sure it had served as the soundtrack to some of my drives during my college years at Gettysburg. Pulling into the parking lot, there was much less activity around the building than the previous day. It was still very early, and most of the spots were empty. I watched some vendors exit their vehicles, generally with a cup of coffee in hand to energize themselves for the day ahead. Some unpacked their trunks, stacking bins of every size onto dollies, while others began pushing their wares toward the garage-like opening of the loading entrance. I made my way to Pete's booth to see if he needed any help with last-minute setting up or pricing, but he was in his usual Saturday morning show groove, and I didn't want to disrupt his rhythm. My goal for the morning was to do at least 1 or 2 laps of the entire venue. But first, I had to visit the exceptionally large booth of Spencer Myers. As I mentioned in the previous episode, Spencer only sets up at Toys for the Ages, and he accumulates enough collectibles to fill a toy store every year. So his offerings of Star Wars figures and other vintage lines are some of the best that you'll find at any toy show.
Okay, I want to do this while it's still quiet. So I'm at Spencer's table, and he has a Death Star space station in the box for $250. He has a turret and probot playset for $100. He has a bunch of cartridge figures as well too. So a Tri-Logo Biker Scout for $160, an Admiral Akbar for $70, Return of the Jedi Lando for $55, Han Solo and Bespin outfit from Return of the Jedi with the 9 Numb offer for $100, Han Solo and trench coat from Return of the Jedi for $100, and I think this is a 77B with the Anakin sticker offer, Biker Scout for $150. So the bubble has a little ding in it, but not bad. He also had a Transformers Megatron and Optimus Prime. The Megatron, and they're both in their boxes. Boxes are really nice. They come with the styrofoam, and all the pieces. The Megatron $750 and the Optimus Prime was $500, and I think the Optimus Prime sold yesterday within the first maybe 2 or 3 hours of the show. I'm standing in front of what's one of my favorite parts, which is all the accessories and items. So he has a bunch of G.I. Joe stuff here, and then he also has a bunch of Star Wars stuff. So to give you an idea, this is really cool. So he has an Obi-Wan lightsaber for $30, a Darth Vader lightsaber for $30, the silver flute for the Max Rebo band for $55, the black microphone for the Rebo band for $65, a brown Yoda snake. I think that they normally go for about $75, and I think he said that was $55. I was able to pick up some Luke capes as well, and he has them for $14 each. He has some orange Yoda snakes for $20, Leia helmets for Leia Endor, and those are $25. He has a really nice Luke poncho belt for $90, which is, I didn't realize they were going for that much. The Endor Leia ponchos, I think they are $10 each, and their belts are $21 each. So that's just one container. Last time he brought one container of Star Wars accessories, and this time he has 4. So trying to see if there are any other cool pieces here. So the Leia Bausch staffs are $18. You have some of the Hoth rifles, the longer ones and the shorter ones that are $5 and $6 each. Bib Fortuna staffs that are $12. He has some of the what I'll call the Bespin blasters, but those are the ones that came with your Cantina aliens, with Luke Bespin, and those are about $20 each. Stormtrooper blasters, dark and light, those are $20. And he also has a Lumat bow, which is the lighter colored one, and that's $65. So his prices are really great. He has some of the, I call those the Bespin blasters before. Those are the Rebel blasters, and then he has the Bespin ones, which are they're almost pointed. So something like Lobot would carry, and those are $8. The Chewbacca, he has 3 Chewbacca bowcasters. One of them I think is like a lighter green, and those are $13 each. He has, in another case, Han trench capes. Those are going for what looks to be $17. His Biker Scout flaps. He has, Wicket staffs, a 2-1B staff, 2-1B, that silver medical device that he uses. Gamorrean Guard axe, which is about $11. So, but again, 4 containers of the accessories. Then he has also a box of accessories for the playsets. And then if I step outside of his booth, because he kindly let me walk around, he has some of the figures as well. In fact, 3 cases filled with figures. Actually, a really nice blue snaggletooth that I may look at. A little wear on the hand, but he has them for $375, which I don't think is a bad price. $265 for a Tusken Raider with the Hollow Cheeks version. And he has pretty much every character that you could think of. I'm looking for some. He does have a Luke poncho, Imperial Dignitary, Lady Urga, I think it is, for the droids line as well too. He does have one of those mini rigs from the Power of the Force that are very hard to get. I want to say it's like the one-man sand skimmer, maybe, and that's $350. And then he has a full complete skiff for $700. What's really nice though too is his prices aren't firm, and he's definitely willing to make deals, and a lot of times the deal that you get from him is pretty fantastic. So I'm standing in front of a lot of the accessories, playsets, and vehicles now, and he has 4 Rancors, 2 Slave 1s, a Millennium Falcon, and one of my favorites, the Ewok Battle Axe. It's something I never had as a child. I think it's really great though. Up on his wall, he has a boxed Ewok Village for $175, a Star Wars Land Speeder, the Collector Series for $75. These are all in the box. Return of the Jedi Scout Walker for $100. 2 twin pod cloud cars from Empire Strikes Back for $50 each. An Empire Strikes Back Slave 1 in the box for $200. A Return of the Jedi Y-Wing for $175. A B-Wing, which works and is complete, has the inserts for $250. Battle damaged Imperial TIE Fighter vehicle for $200. Battle damaged X-Wing fighter for $135. A box Bespin freeze chamber for $40, which I think is a pretty good steal. The pink Rebel armored snowspeeder, complete for $125 in the box. Is the Ben Cooper costume and mask for the Stormtrooper for $45. And the Empire Strikes Back AT-AT, really nice one for $350. A Rancor in the box for $175. The original Star Wars case for $40. The vinyl rectangular case. He also has the Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon in the box. That might be sealed, and that's $80. So a really nice collection of Star Wars stuff that I can see. One of the items I was looking at, which I had as a kid and I really loved, it's one of my favorites, was a Return of the Jedi coloring book. It has that for $7, and it has the Max Rebo band on the front. It actually has Max Rebo with Salacious Crumb on the left side of the image, and then Lando in his gift card disguise. He has 2 of the original Star Wars on vinyl, and those are $10 each. So that's a small grouping of some of the items that he has. Very, very nice. Really glad that he brought all of this stuff, and very impressive. So that's Spencer's table. I'm going to continue walking around as I wake up a little more. But it's quiet here. I like it. I get a chance to just take a look through, and I want to bring you through the entire show if I can. So this is how it begins.
After spending time going through Spencer's booth, I made my way back through the wide central aisle that ran the length of the venue. I was able to spend some time at Eric Janicki's tables and to catch up with my dear friend. Eric is a member of the Washington, D.C. area Star Wars Collecting Club, and he always sets up at shows in the tri-state area and beyond. For a Star Wars fan, Eric's tables are always filled with really special items. Sure, you'll find carded and loose Kenner figures, but the real gems are the licensed items around the original trilogy, the prequels, the Clone Wars era, and the sequels. Eric has accumulated many of these hard-to-find pieces over the years and offers what many collectors find to be fresh and exciting memorabilia from each era. Last year at the Toys for the Ages, our friend Chris Letty picked up a lunchbox and lanyard set that was given to Lucasfilm employees for an early company screening of the 2008 Clone Wars movie. When I saw Eric at ZoloCon in the spring, he had given me a fantastic deal on a couple of hardcover Star Wars books I had wanted to add to my resource library. And as I walked up to greet him, I just had a feeling I would be bringing home something from his booth.
Okay. One of my favorite aspects of every trip, every toy trip, is to hang out with my buddy Yannishay, Eric Janicki. Eric, it is too early in the morning for us to be at a toy show. How are you doing?
I'm doing better than last night. I was pretty wiped out, so I missed dinner.
Okay. But you're feeling better now?
Feeling better.
Okay. So every time that we get together, I ask you one very important question. So you've set up, you have this beautiful table. I was just going through the paperback and hardcover books that you have. You have, my gosh, I would say 50 books, 60, 80 books.
Yeah.
I picked out two. I picked out The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view, and I've never seen this before, the adaptation of the animated Clone Wars 2008 movie. I can't wait to read that. So, but there's always one piece that you bring that you just want to get rid of in the worst way. And so, which one is that?
Well, this show, I have...
Oh, gosh.
I have 4 24-inch action figure Kiss dolls from their album Love Gun.
Is it? I don't think they're 24. I think they're 48 inches.
I think the actual figure is like...
Okay, but the
box is like 36 or 32. Yeah. But whatever, they're humongous.
So you have 4 of those, and then next to it you have this other blight on humanity.
So I have Kiss busts that are, I don't know, they're at least 20 inches or, I don't know, they're huge.
Yeah, so you have basically on top of your tables, you have 2 small tables, and then you have these
4-footers.
Love Gun Kiss figures.
Yeah, Love Gun. I mean, the artwork's amazing.
It is. It really is.
And they actually like play the song or something if you hit the thing.
Okay. I went to school with the girl on the left.
On the left?
Yeah, who's wearing the belt in a very nice way.
Yeah.
I don't know the girl on the right. So.
But if I could get rid of them today, because they're so huge, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, okay. And
then I just found this. I don't even know what it is. Sinbad, the Fifth Voyage movie poster. Is this like a...
Okay, so it's 2010.
But is this like a fan-made film or something?
Narration by Patrick Stewart. Okay. And then Sean Solomon as Sinbad. I don't know. It is.
I will never sell this poster. I'm convinced. I'm going to have to give it away.
This is how you do it. You put this. You hang this up, and you put $20,000 on it for best offer.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
Chad? Okay.
It looks
We're hanging out with Chad Plouffe now as well.
So maybe you need to buy it.
No.
Or take it.
No.
See, I can't even give it away.
I don't have wall space.
Can't even give it away.
Hey, I want
By any chance, are either of you Kiss fans? Because my man here has.
Oh, I see them.
The most. We're trying to.
I was gonna say D&E had a set for a little while. I remember when they came out.
These are the Love Gun ones.
Oh, yeah.
The Destroyer ones are much easier to get, apparently. Is that true? I heard that.
Yes,
I don't know
it
if
is.
it's true.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I mean, where are we on the Love Gun thing? Is that like cool, cheesy?
It's awesome, dude.
It's awesome? Okay, I'll take that.
Dude, it's vintage. Everything that's vintage is awesome.
I have to say, and I'm not a huge Kiss fan or anything, but these figures are, they're pretty
Have you ever
awesome.
seen this?
Pretty
I
incredible.
have one. Do you know what it is?
12-inch RoboCop. Ooh, and check this out.
Yes.
I can get rid of these. That is a sealed pack of McDonald's Barbie Hot Wheels Happy Meal bags. 240 count of the Happy Meal bags. Sealed. That's
Have you
cool.
spoken to Ben Leach? I feel like this is a Ben Leach thing. Yeah.
Okay, I just got this, so I got to figure it out.
Okay. Do you have the lenticulars? The displays? Oh, you do. Oh my gosh.
Not for Barbie though.
Oh well, I guess I'm out. All right. Okay, so this is. So you have some lenticular displays for
McDonald's Translights, and there are 2 lenticular ones.
I think I saw them yesterday here. You also have some early Clone Wars stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. I might have to take a look at those. But let me see. So you have the Batman Returns. So you would get a 32-ounce collector cup with a soft drink for 29 cents when you purchase any extra value meal. Oh, wow.
McBoo bags.
Boo bags, okay. So these would be from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
The change meal. Oh.
Changeables, like they're like Transformers. Funny Fry Friends. 101 Dalmatians. Hook.
Discover the
Rainforest. Just gift certificates. Nature's Helper.
So these look like they're from the 80s. 93? Okay.
Yeah, there might be late 80s in there. And then the lenticular ones is Jungle Book and I think Super Tiny Toons.
And those are from 1990. Wow, those are really nice. That's great. I have a friend who's looking for displays and stuff, so I'll bring him over.
That's all I got.
It's quite a bit. It is quite a bit. This is a cool backpack. This has to, I feel like
that's
this
from
is
the late 80s or late 90s.
Yeah, I was gonna say 97, somewhere around the special
Yeah.
editions.
Yeah.
So it's a blue backpack, and it has it's a close up of Luke in it with his X-wing pilot helmet, so he's flying, and then a schematic of the
Yeah, they use that art for a
the
lot of
X-wing.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's really, really nice, though. This would be something. So it's from 1996. It would be something that if I saw as a child. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got all these.
So you have one with that's an orange.
Little duffel bag,
It's a black
yeah.
one with gray and orange tones, and then it has the same image of
Yeah,
Luke.
96.
Yeah. So this would be the image of
Cool
him
because,
firing
like
the proton torpedo.
when Power Force 2 stuff came out, like this was like that era.
Yeah.
And it just looked cool, it had different art. So like when you go to the store and they were cheap to
Yeah.
buy, so it was just kind of cool seeing new
It
product
reminds
out
me
there.
of like I want to say Roy Lichtenstein, but like that kind of pop art, very nice.
I think the fan club sold like big prints of those images. I think there's like 4 of them or something.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This is something that I've never seen before that I think is fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I wish I could. I don't know if I know much about it. So this is Cody and Rex kid costumes with blasters. So it comes in like this, I don't know.
It looks almost like a lunchbox,
Yeah, like
but
a
like a
huge
larger
lunch pail.
Yes.
I don't know, it's supposed to be like an ammo box or something. I don't know. But yeah.
And this is the blue and white design
Wars.
with the helmet. So I'm going to say that's 2008. And it has one costume for Cody and one costume for Rex. You get the shirt, the blaster, and the helmet.
2008.
Yeah. It's a nice set.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Very cool. You have some stuff. You and Jonathan McElwain always have stuff that I've never seen.
I think this was from Jonathan McElwain.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense.
He got tired of doing shows. He was like, "Here, buy all my stuff."
But I give you credit, like, the stuff you have, I mean, it really spans the entirety of the Star Wars fandom, and you have a lot of early stuff for each of the lines, and things that you just wouldn't see at a show.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have variety, and I think it keeps customers coming back. They always say I have unique stuff. They never know what I'm going to have, so it kind of makes it fun for me.
Yeah. There's nothing cooler than bouncing away from a toy table with a 15-inch Clone Wars hopper with Yoda on the front.
That's actually something I can see you enjoying.
That is I mean, I would bounce through this entire show on that thing if it was made for me, but I think I'm just a little taller than...
Yeah, this is my $5 table, so everything on there is $5.
Okay.
Or 5 for 20.
Okay, can't go wrong.
So,
very nice. All right, so the goal is to sell those Kiss. Yeah.
They take up half my truck.
Morning, gentlemen.
So. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take those 2 books, and then I'll see if there's anything else.
After leaving Eric's table, I headed immediately to the back of the venue to begin my first walkthrough of the entire expo, row by row. I came across one of the most impressive displays I've seen at a show, a collection of some of the best toys from some of the greatest lines. Iconic pieces and incredible rarities were in abundance at the Planet Force booth.
Okay, I'm in front of the Planet Force table, and my gosh, this is some of the coolest stuff at one table here. So there are 2 shelves of RoboCop figures and box items.
This is what kills me.
There are 2 shelves of Swamp Things.
I thought that was fake, but I was like, there's no way. But that looks real. It is real. This guy's got some sick...
He really does, yeah. So this is... so now we're looking at Toxic Crusaders. We have some Voltrons, some Centurions.
Good.
Mass carded figures, including and this is $500, but it's the Mask Racing Arena carded figure, which has Miles Mayhem on it in an outfit I've never seen before. The Volcano, the Stinger. He has some really rare Princess of Power, the She-Ra figures as well too. I can't see any prices on them. Superpowers are one of those. Crazy Balls, which look like Mad Balls. They might be knockoffs. One of the cooler pieces here is a carded Marion Ravenwood from Raiders, and he has $1,000 on that. It's a nice piece. He has stacks and stacks of carded Masters of the Universe figures, original ones: Evil Lyn, Tongue Lasher, Horde Trooper, Cobra Khan, Fisto, Clamp Champ, Extendar, Zodak. He has a carded Super Amigos, which I believe is the Argentina run of Cyborg for $1,000, and it's sealed. It's really nice. Some advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures from the 80s. A Thundercats Driller, which you don't really see. It's a Rampagers figure, and he has $1,000 on that. Starship Eternia sealed. So this is from the 1987 or 89 run of He-Man when they reintroduced He-Man. It's a smaller figure, and it's funny, like, the line wasn't that popular when it came out, but it's become popular among a niche group of collectors, and so this one is $1,300 for the Starship Eternia sealed. We have on this shelf some more. Okay, we have 30 minutes until it opens. Okay, so he also has Hordak for $450 sealed, which is nice. Rattler, Webster, which is one of my favorites. Snout Spout. Something that I rarely see, but I remember really well. So they used to sell the ammo for the Thunder Punch He-Man, which were these red caps, and it would give you, I think it says 216 shots, and basically as you would move him, it would pop, and I just remember having it in like a tiny bit of smoke, I think, I remember the smell of it as a child. We're getting to the Transformers, so we have Sludge, Kickback, Bombshell, Ironhide, Inferno, and these are all in boxes. And then we get to my favorite stuff, of course, which is Star Wars. So he has a Droids Kia Mole for $300, Val Jobin for $400, and that has the black blaster that everybody covets. An Imperial TIE Fighter die-cast. Can't see the price on that. He has a clear bubble... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a yellow low gray from Return of the Jedi for $75. A prune face with the coin sticker offer on it for $100. 88 for $100. Tebow for $200. Seems expensive for a Tebow. He does have a nice Bespin guard, and I'm trying to see if that's a 31. It is. So he has a clear bubble 31 back Bespin security guard for $250. The bubble is clear, but it's a little dented. He has a beautiful box sand crawler. It's complete with the inserts, and it works, and it's $2,500. So, but really nice box. He also has a box Jabba the Hutt, the Droid Side Gunner box vehicle for $400, and a speeder bike for $150. And I think, yeah, it's sealed. Max Rebo band behind it, Imperial attack base, and then a sealed Death Star compactor playset for $800. So, nice grouping of Star Wars stuff. And then he has some G.I. Joe and some Turtles. And that's just one table. One table here. So I'm going to keep walking around. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. And the show is going to open in a half hour. And I have to tell you, I am overwhelmed. I have done, I think, 2 rows so far, and I still have about 16 left. And I've never seen more toys. This is just one of the best shows I've ever been to, one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm so impressed with what Andy has put together. I might have found a carded figure too. I found one of the transition back 21 back Empire Strikes Back Snaggletooth carded figures, which is actually a really tough one to find. I think according to our friend Jeff, that one's maybe like 4th, 5th, somewhere around there. So thank you, Jeff, always for your information. But and the price is pretty good on it too. It's $250. It's in really nice shape. And then I found I think it's a 77B Bespin security guard on Return of the Jedi card back. Tough to find. Just another tough one. So I'm going to take a look at that. But anyway, that's what I found so far. I can't get over what I'm seeing. I mean, I've seen just absolute gems, and I'm only 2 rows in. Okay, we have about less than 10 minutes before it opens, and Andy's making his final announcements. And I don't even think I'm halfway through. No, I'm not halfway through the show yet, as far as seeing everything. So I did find some Ewoks and some Return of the Jedi carded figures, so that's nice. So I'm going to take a look now. Okay, so it's about 10 o'clock. I just made my second purchase of the day. And, well, really of the show, because I picked up stuff yesterday. But I was just digging through a bin, and somebody had figures for $5, and there was an Anakin in there, Power of the Force Anakin. So I was able to get that. And then he also had 2 Yodas, 3 snakes, and then the Yodas had their belts and their cloak, and one of them had a cane. And then I found a Gamorrean guard axe. So I asked him how much the total would be for all of them, and he started counting it, and then he looked at me and he said $40. So it was a pretty good purchase. I think one of the snakes is missing a head, but I'm okay with that. I just have to authenticate the accessories, make sure that they're real, but I thought for $40 I can't pass it up. So I was taking a little gamble on it. The thing is, he had the card backs for the figures and stuff, and I think one of the figures, was came from his family. It was a childhood collection. So, but anyway, it was just a nice pickup. Was not expecting that, so that was pretty cool. And I got to just hang out with a few friends outside, and then Danny Katzel and I were walking around and hanging out. So you may know Danny Katzel, especially if you went to Rogue Fun. That he was the sponsor of the book swag that we made, one of the authors of that book. Thank you. Welcome. And he's also an avid poster collector, so he got an item as well for his collection, something that he was looking for and was really happy to get. And so just came back in. I'm going to try to get in where I don't have to... Going in the exit, let's see. So it's 20-1, and I'm leaving the show again, and I'm driving over to a restaurant for lunch. So when I checked out of the hotel, I didn't actually check out. I left all my stuff there because I figured I would just come back and get it at some point, taking a break in the middle of the day. And that's what I did. So I did that at around 11, and then came back to the show for a little bit, met up with Danny Katzel again, and before he leaves to head back toward the DC area, he and I are going to go out to lunch. So we were trying to figure out a place to go, and he said that the number one recommendation was the Appalachian Brewing Company, which is the restaurant that I went to with everybody yesterday. And I just thought, you know what? I had the best hamburger there, truly did, and I would like another one. So we're going back there, which is great, and it's only about 4 miles away from the venue. An easy route as well, too. It's essentially one road. So this will take us into that part of the area, the town, and I'm looking forward to it. So I had a little granola bar at the beginning of the morning, around 5 o'clock, and haven't had anything since. So this should be really nice. But I'm happy to take Danny because he wasn't able to come with us yesterday. He wasn't here. He came in this morning, so he'll actually be able to have this wonderful burger if he chooses. But I asked him if he had any thing in mind, and he said as long as the restaurant has meat, he's good. So so we're gonna have probably burgers and pulled pork and tacos and all these really good dishes. So I'm looking forward to that. The show has been fantastic. It really has. I was able to do one lap, and that took me from about 6:30 this morning until 11 something. And I had stopped to talk to people, but overall, it was, I don't know how many aisles, 16, 18 aisles, that's what it felt like at least. But, seeing that many items in one spot, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, I've done multiple episodes on the Toys for the Ages Expo. And I've really done it for two reasons. First of all, I've had the absolute best time every time I've gone. In addition to there being wonderful items, vintage and modern, and all sorts of ephemera, that's great. But it goes beyond being just a toy show. And for a lot of us, it's a way to reconnect and to hang out and to spend a weekend together. And then also to do things outside of the show, like going out to eat, going for meals, hanging out, just spending some time and talking. And meeting people for the first time as well, too. And that's what I was trying to do even with Danny. When Danny and I were walking around, we went back in, and I wanted to introduce him to people like Chad Plouffe. Just because Chad is really such a nice guy, and Danny is such a nice guy. And if I can put the two of them together and maybe, have them form a friendship, that's wonderful. So that's why I've done it, and where it's been just a wonderful trip every time I've gone. It's been really meaningful. I found some things here and there, some great things, great items, rare pieces at times. Sometimes I haven't, and that's perfectly fine. But then also, I do want to highlight this show. I want to highlight the work that Andy Cook has put into this, into making this really, truly one of the greatest East Coast shows, I would say. If not one of the best shows in the country. And then, just on top of it, that maybe if you're listening to this and you've never traveled to this region or you've never been to Toys for the Ages, maybe encourages you to come out and to check out the show. And then while you're there, maybe you find stuff and you meet people that share kind of a similar mindset or that collect similar items as you, and you form like these lifelong bonds, these lifelong friendships. So that's my hope every time. And so I hope you enjoy hearing about the Toys for the Ages Expo and for coming along with me. I'm pulling in now to the restaurant, and I can truly say it's very strange coming here at night where everything is just lit by street lights, and the Appalachian Brewing Company has these beautiful lights that they string through the trees.
259 Steinway Avenue on the left.
And now seeing it in broad daylight, it feels like a totally different location, a totally different locale. So it's near the Lincoln Train Museum, which is really funny. I remember coming down this way and passing the Lincoln Train Museum all the time. So when I went to school here, it certainly wasn't as built up as it is now, but it's really nice.
259 Steinway Avenue on the left.
All right, well, you've heard my friend. We're arriving, so I'll let you know what we wind up eating and whether we might eat outside or if it's too warm, because it did get pretty hot. It's in the 80s now, and just with that sun, we might try to sit inside if there's room. However, we are coming here at almost 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and I'm sure a lot of other people are doing the same. So anyway, looking forward to it. Another yurt burger, probably. Y-U-R-T. That's a pretty special one. So I'll let you know how lunch goes.
Danny and I spent 2 hours at the Appalachian Brewing Company. We sat inside at a table in the corner of the main room, and I ordered the yurt burger once again. Toy shows are great places to meet up. It's fun to spend time with other collectors and to go from table to table, hunting for toys and Star Wars items together. But with literally thousands of shoppers crowding the aisles, and with more visual distractions than the Las Vegas Strip, it can be difficult to continue a conversation or to have those intimate connections we often crave. The solution? A meal between collectors in the middle of the day. It breaks up the bustle of the toy show and allows you to sit with a friend or a group of friends and to catch up on life for an hour or two. And Danny and I had a lot of catching up to do. In May, he and I attended the second Rogue Fun Weekend, a Star Wars collectors event hosted by the Georgia Alliance and held in the Atlanta region. We had worked on what has become my favorite Star Wars swag of all time, a book that featured the characters of the Cantina, and each of us contributed a chapter to it. Danny sponsored the publication of the book and handed out 200 copies of it to the Rogue Fun attendees, including Steve Sansweet and the legendary Roger Christian. After reminiscing about the trip, we discussed some of the recent Star Wars-related auctions, and we also began a larger conversation about the state of our hobby and what the future may hold for collectors. And in between all of it, we talked about what was going on in our lives and where life was taking each of us. And when you're eating some of the best burgers in Adams County, those conversations are bound to be memorable. Danny and I said our goodbyes at the restaurant. Before heading home, he stopped off for dessert at one of the remaining Friendly's ice cream shops, which was located next door to the brewing company. As I walked across the restaurant parking lot, I was struck by how these collecting friendships have formed over the years. I first met Danny during the weekly collector Zoom chats we held every Saturday during the pandemic. Being quarantined meant we couldn't get together in person, so the Zoom calls became the fireside around which we gathered. It wasn't until years later that we met in person, in Pennsylvania and at Mike DeStefano's annual Sithmas event at his home. And since then, Danny and I have met up at toy shows and at Rogue Fun and Sithmas, continuing a friendship that started in the groups and in the virtual chats. I've learned to never take for granted a lunch like this. As collectors, we love getting together in person. But with busy lives and the fact that many of us live quite a distance from one another, spending time face-to-face and in the same location can be a rarity. And the toy shows often give us a destination, a reason to travel. Once we're there, though, that time is precious, and it's worth sharing a meal together with a friend for a few hours, as you don't know when you'll be in the same town again. I returned to the All-Star Sports Complex to spend my final hours at Toys for the Ages. I honestly mean this when I say it. I feel like I could have taken 3 or 4 full tours of all of the booths again, and I probably still would have missed seeing some items. But I wasn't in the mood to shop, or at least to shop by myself. Instead, I wanted to help out my friends in a fun way. Do you remember the booth I mentioned earlier? The one where I had purchased a Power of the Force Anakin and some Yodas and some accessories? A lot of our friends often need parts and pieces for their figures and playsets, and I figured that many of them had been so busy during the first part of the day that they probably hadn't visited that particular booth yet. So I went to Pete LaRose, to Chris Leddy and Kevin Mann, to Lucas Henkel, and to about 5 or 6 others, and I brought each of them to that accessory booth. I watched their faces as they stared at the 4 huge bins full of parts sitting in front of them. And together we knelt down and dug through each bin, in the hopes of finding something special. The owners of the booth, a very kind family, were thrilled to be getting the business from the hardcore collectors that showed up with me. And they laughed each time I brought another friend, inviting us to explore the bins and giving us empty containers to hold the items that interested us. Some of our friends spent a few $100s each at that booth. The dealers were thrilled to make some bigger sales, and the buyers were thrilled with what they had found and the prices paid. So it was a win for all parties. And I had a nice opportunity to help a great family and to help my fellow collectors. I can't tell you the joy I experienced watching each of them dig further into the bins, and I loved assisting them, learning about accessories for various lines in the process. The final 2 hours flew by, and it wasn't long before Andy's voice echoed through the loudspeakers, calling an end to the first official day at the Toys for the Ages Expo. I said my goodbyes to Pete, to Eric, to Lucas, to Spencer, to Kevin, to Chris, and to everyone else as I made my way back toward the building's exit.
Okay, it's 10 after 4. I thought I was going to stay till about 2 o'clock and then after lunch head out, but I came back and I'm really glad I did. I didn't record too many conversations and chat with friends. It was more just looking at items, digging through bins and boxes, and just hanging out with friends and just spending time with them. So, but it was really nice, and the time went by so quickly. I didn't really pick up anything else. There's one more item that I got at the very end of the day, and that was through one of these dollar bins. And I was with my buddy Pete LaRose, and he picked this thing up, and it looked like a piece for the Millennium Falcon, but we couldn't figure out initially what it was. I was racking my brain because the back of it looked like the ramp for the Millennium Falcon, but it was too small. And so I was trying to think if it belonged to something like the Rebel Transport or one of these Kenner either playsets or vehicles. And then Pete said, I think this is for the Micro Falcon, and it clicked right away. So it's a little broken on the edges. Like there's like a little clip on each edge, but it doesn't matter. I've never seen one kind of out at a toy show before, and although I don't own a Falcon, for $1 I couldn't pass this up. So really happy I was able to get it. And so great day. I think my only complaint about the building is that it was a little warm. I don't know if the air conditioning was on. I think it was, but it felt a little warm. They are renovating the building, so I think by next year it will look completely different, and the air conditioning will be working. But oh my gosh, even going back in and just doing laps, I was finding things that I had never seen before. And there was this one table that had, as I mentioned, dollar bins, and then they had $5 bins for all Star Wars figures, and they had accessories, every type of accessory you could imagine. G.I. Joe, any type of missile accessory. It was just one container. They had He-Man figures and then He-Man playsets and accessories in a larger bin, and then in a smaller bin they had the figures, armor and swords and shields and axes, and all the pieces that go with the figures. So that was really cool. They had that for Star Wars as well. But they had 4 main bins that were like each item was $1, and you just had to dig through it. So I wound up grabbing as many friends as I could find and just bringing them over in groups. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I can't tell you the joy that I got from just watching them going through the bins. And I was trying to help them find stuff, and really going off of intuition, just the certain colors that reminded me of certain lines and certain items. And I think I scored a few for some friends, so that was cool. So I'm gonna have to reach out to them and see what they actually picked up and if they found anything. And then I think they're going back tomorrow and going through it. So I unfortunately am not. I'm heading home back to New Jersey. But it was great. I was going to stop and have dinner, but since I had lunch with Danny and had one of those amazing hamburgers again, I think I'm pretty full. So I am going to drink probably a 6-pack of water on the way home because I feel so dehydrated. I forgot to drink water all day. But the show really was great. I can't stress it enough, and I hope that I was somehow able to communicate at least a part of it, of how good the show was, and how worthwhile it is to make this trip. 3.5 hours to a lot of people is not a lot, and to some people it is. As long as it's worthwhile, though, 3.5 hours is nothing to ride out and to hang out with friends and to go hunting for stuff. I didn't really find a lot for myself, and that's okay. But I was able to just sit and hunt for hours, and to hunt with friends too. There's something special about that. So I see my friend Eric, and he's heading out now with his U-Haul, walking back to my car. I'll tell you, it stayed crowded. The parking lots, they had ample parking space, and pretty much it seemed like every spot was taken. There were spots on the grass as well, closer to the building, but on the other side. It was for vendors and for overflow parking. This is a wonderful, wonderful venue. If they had this every week, I would come. I would make the 3.5 hour trip. It's that good of a show. And yeah, it says a lot because it's really difficult to put on these shows. Christian Kuhn and Mark Ryan put on the Maryland Toy Show, which is one of my favorites. I could go through a whole bunch of them, but if you've listened to the podcast, most of the ones that I've gone to I've really loved. And just from talking to my friends, I know how hard it is to put on a show. And the thing that I like is a lot of it is just the absolute love of the hobby, love of the toys, love of collecting, love of collectors, and wanting to give people a meaningful experience. And I think they really do. So yeah, so that was a trip. I'm actually watching Pete go by in his van, and I realized I had presents for his daughter Audrey, and they're sitting in my car still. So I brought them to a friend's house, and Pete wasn't able to go, and so I drove them all the way up to New York and back, and now I've driven them all the way to Gettysburg, and I'm taking them back home, and we'll probably deliver them to him at RetroCon or whatever their next show is. So, oh well, Audrey, if you're listening to this, your presents are coming. Happy birthday! But oh gosh, this was just such a wonderful day. It was nice to see everybody. The Friday setup is always nice, but I find, just for me, it takes me about a day to acclimate and just to get into the rhythm. And it's a little overwhelming, I think, coming to a toy show, because you're dealing with the toy show, you're dealing with seeing a lot of friends and connecting with people, and just the excitement of it all. And then that kind of dips a little bit and levels off, and then it's like, you're down to the really like good, hearty conversations and connecting with people, and it's just nice. A handshake and a hug always, it means so much. So anyway, so that was my trip for Gettysburg, and it was nice to be back in the state again. I love Pennsylvania. Nice to be back in the town again. I love Gettysburg with my heart, and to see what Andy has done for a show like this and how large this has grown. We've been seeing this for the last 5 years. Remember the first time I came, and it was such a meaningful experience, such an exciting experience too. I think that was the one where I was able to buy 4 carded Luke Jedi figures, which was, it's my favorite character, and my favorite figure as well. So to be able to get 4 of them was kind of special. And then, but just, I had never had the Toys for the Ages Carlisle experience. So to go out to dinner and then to hang out with friends at the show, and to meet, I met so many people. I think it was Toys for the Ages and the Columbus show in Ohio. Those were the 2 that, when I look back on, as far as meeting new friends and building groups of friendships that have lasted years, those are the 2 shows. And although I don't really go out to Columbus anymore, I don't think I'm going to ever miss a Toys for the Ages Expo. And I really hope you'll join me next year, because, as I said, if this were next week, I'd come right back. There's a really nice aspect to it where you have people who are very knowledgeable about toys, and you also have the chance to just explore, where you can, a lot of times at shows, you can walk by a table, and within a 5-second glance, you can kind of see everything that they have. And with this type of show, the booths were bigger, the aisles were wide, which I really like, so that people weren't on top of each other, and you could actually walk and stuff. And but just being able to sit and just to take a few minutes at a time, sometimes even 40 minutes. I think I spent 40 minutes at 1 or 2 of the booths between yesterday and today, and just going through and just seeing everything as it was coming out, and just whatever was there. So I picked up some nice Star Wars stuff. I'm happy about that. I didn't break the bank, so that was perfect too. But again, it was more of just being able to see friends, going out to lunch with Danny. That was really special. And yesterday, being out with a whole group as well, and doing dinner. That dinner was so good that Danny and I went back to the same spot again. So that's it from Gettysburg. I'm sad I'm going to be heading home. A part of me does want to stay for the 3rd and final day, but I think my body's feeling it now. And as I said, I have about a 3.5-hour ride ahead of me, so I'd rather get on top of that before it gets too late. And so really, please consider coming out to the Toys for the Ages Expo in 2027. I spoke to a number of vendors, and they said that they're already planning for next year and have put stuff aside and have reimagined what their booths are going to be, which is incredible. But it's just, I think for the vendors, seeing the space, the size of the building, the space that they had, and what they could actually do with it now, I think has really started to get the gears turning. So I can't wait to see what they produce.
Are you going to be here tomorrow?
I am not, but I want you to say a quick hi. Hello.
Who am I saying hi to?
The podcast.
Oh, hey, this is Lucas. Hey, Jason.
Hi, this is Kara.
And so these are two people I love very much. When did you get this car? This is awesome.
I got it last year.
Okay.
It's a Datsun 280ZX.
It's beautiful. So it's a beautiful brown. Is it 70s, 80s?
83.
83? Okay, nice. So, funny story. There's a movie that came out that year. I can't think of the name of it. Something with lightsabers and blasters and stuff.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. So,
That's
yes,
it. Star
okay,
Trek.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got a bee friend
we have
hanging out with us, too.
baby bee is just like hanging out and just exploring. Yeah, I don't know why.
He wants to be on the podcast, too.
Yeah, okay. Well, as long as he doesn't sting me, sure, he's on. So what time are you guys coming back tomorrow? What's the plan?
6 a.m., whatever time they open, yeah.
So you're going to bed now?
Yeah.
An hour?
We're going to bed an hour ago, and we'll be back at 6 a.m., yeah.
All right. Well, I love you both. It was nice to see you guys, and I hope you have a great show tomorrow as well, too.
So great to see you, David, as always.
All right.
I'll see you soon, I'm sure.
See you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
So that was nice getting to see Lucas and Carrie before they left. All right. So I'm going to end this. A part of me just doesn't want to leave, I think. But that's the sign of a really good show, too. So, all right. As I said, if you can, come to Toys for the Ages Expo in 2027, because I think it will be, if you can even imagine, an even better show than this one. They're going to renovate the building. As I said, vendors are... They've seen the building now. They understand what they're dealing with and the booth size, which is pretty awesome. There were people talking about getting even bigger booths because I guess, if you have, if you're doing well, and that's the thing too. I talked to a few vendors who did exceptionally well. One of our friends did numbers that I didn't even know existed for a toy show. I will just say that. And I don't even think they were talking about yesterday. They didn't even add yesterday's numbers in, during setup. So, and I've just never heard numbers like this. So that's really impressive. Again, if you're interested, contact Andy Cook. Come to the show, and please bring Star Wars prototypes and production pieces, especially carded vintage figures. We need more of that. That was one thing. We didn't have really any high-end Star Wars items. The only person who had it was our friend Art Lou, and Art always brings the goodies. I mean, I think he had a carded size from and then 2 loose size froms. At least those are the ones I saw. He had Final Cape Jawas and Tig froms and graded Luke Stormtroopers and, just everything you could imagine. The droids, R2 and C-3PO, loose and graded. He had rows of carded graded figures as well, too, and ungraded figures. But he's the only one. And so if you are a Star Wars collector and you have items that you are looking to get rid of in your collection, it might be worth it. There's not a lot of competition for the carded stuff, which is good, but I think there's interest there. And, sometimes we talk about kind of where the market is and whether people are spending, but I saw people... One of our friends brought Pokemon cards and sports cards. He was supposed to do a sports card show, and it fell through, so he just brought that stuff, and he said that was fantastic for him. That a lot of that stuff sold really well, and probably sold better than even a lot of toys. So there are markets there, and as I said, if you have carded vintage figures, loose vintage figures, if you can add stuff that you want to get rid of and then kind of add it back into the community in a meaningful way, where it's even, a little more than transactional, but you get to meet collectors face to face and build relationships. Those are the types of items that they're not only great souvenirs from a really good experience, but a lot of times that could be the catalyst for a friendship. A lot of the friendships I have, especially with the vendors and dealers from the toy shows, are because I was maybe interested in an item and whether I purchased it or not. We just started a discussion and conversation around it. So socially that works. And then we've just built up some really nice friendships over the years with different collectors as a result of doing the toy shows or shopping at the toy shows. So, again, Toys for the Ages Expo. It's in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I hope this is its permanent home because I think it certainly has the space for it. I can't imagine it getting bigger than this, but maybe it can. But anyway, we'll take the Gettysburg shows for now. So that's all from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And I hope to see you at the next one. But I will continue to report live from these toy shows on Star Wars, prototypes, and production.